The Flash 23.2, aka Reverse Flash, written by Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul, art by Scott Hepburn. So, the entire arc that we've been dealing with in The Flash proper has all led up to Reverse Flash and Flash fighting, and then it said tune in for this issue. So, we open up with Daniel West, and he's like, yeah, I went to go visit my dad. He's in a nursing home, and I wanted to go in and show him, like, we had a pretty screwed up household. He was abusive. I was a punk. Our sister's the only one who was any good. But I wanted to go show him that, like, I'd made something of myself. So he walks into the nursing home room, and his father throws coffee in his face, which then he immediately uses his powers as Reverse Flash to reverse time and then attack his father. And he's like, I'm going to kill you, Dad. I am straight going to murder you because you are a bad person. You're a real monster, not like me. But I mean, I also, look what you've made me. This is your fault. And as he is attacking his dad, he's like, I am going to kill you, but I'm not going to kill you here. I'm going to go back in time far enough to stop you from ever being a monster to our family at all. So at this point, we get his full backstory. He was in jail for some, minor crimes, whatever. We will actually see that in a few panels, but he gets out and nobody's waiting for him except for an attack by Gorilla City, which happened in The Flash. And he is saved and brought to the mirror world by the Rogues, but it turns out it was actually just a shakedown. Like, yeah, they saved everyone, but they required all their wallets and stuff to get back home. So Daniel didn't want to do this. He punches Heatwave in the face, goes and steals a car that's here in the mirror world, and as the Rogues are trying to stop him, they accidentally direct the car to collide with a Speed Force battery that is on a monorail that is also in the mirror world, which it breaks at the exact moment that he has Mirror Master basically sending him back to the real world anyway. So because of all those things happening, he is imbued with this Speed Force energy, and he's able to see past, present, future all at once. And all of a sudden, he is brought out into the desert, seemingly dead. He is, like, infused with shrapnel from the monorail. His flesh is burning. He's just not doing good at all. And then, as his blood is dripping out of his face, all of a sudden it starts reversing, and he accidentally taps into his powers. He taps into the Speed Force. And in doing so, he's able to see everybody else who's also attached to the Speed Force, because at that time there were like 4 other people besides Barry. And he's like, oh, okay, hold on, I'm piecing this together. All of them are splitting the energy of the Speed Force. So if I just kill them, I can then use more power, and I will be able to travel even further back in time, because he's limited to how far back he can travel by how many people are left alive. So then we flash back further, and we see him saying, like, hey, this was like, I went up, I told my sister, she was at college at the time, hey, you don't have to worry about me. I finally got a gig that's going to pay for everything. And Iris is like, Dan, just get a job, man. Like, stop trying to do, like, crimes and stuff to get paid. Like, I'm going out and I'm doing my things, and you just need to do that too. Also, go apologize to Dad. Go talk to him. And he's like, I'm not apologizing. He's a horrible person. Why would I apologize to him? And it's like, well, because he's not going to apologize to you unless you apologize to him. Someone has to be the bigger man. And it's like, well, it's not me. So at that point, he tells him, yeah, go out, get a real job, stop running these criminal things, and stop, like, coming to me. And let go of the past. And we see that, they did a robbery, and, they were more or less going to get away. But it turns out the day they did this robbery was actually the very first day that Barry became the Flash and was, like, running around town and was being a hero. So he managed to put Daniel away because he just barely squeaked over the age of 18, and he was away for, like, 5 years. So he doesn't like the Flash to begin with. Then we go back even further, and we see him in a suburb, and he regularly spent time outside of his house. He didn't like spending time near his dad. He went to a little creek behind his house to collect crickets, which he said helped him sleep. And one day, as the crickets are chirping, his dad just comes into his room and just pours coffee all inside the cage, killing all the crickets. And he's like, your mother hated crickets. So he walks out the room. Daniel gets up, like, starts hitting him, trying to punch him or whatnot. Father just pushes him down. And as the father's walking down the stairs, Daniel pushes him down the stairs, severely, breaking his spine and making it so he will never walk again. And Daniel, in that moment, unable to live with what he did, he just runs out of the house. Age, like, I think he said he was like 14, not even. He's super young, and he just leaves, and he never comes back. So then we flash back a little bit further in the woods outside the West home. This was when he was 8 years old. Iris comes out to go get him because him and his dad had a fight. And we see that Iris actually has a bruise on her cheek because his dad was drinking and punched her. And he's like, oh, he did this because of me. He did this to you because he hates me. And it's like, no, he doesn't hate you. Turns out their mom died during childbirth, specifically Daniel's childbirth. And the father does probably blame him to some extent. But he's also just an angry drunk. So at this point, Iris gives him a hug and, says, oh, I love you. You got to stop running away. We've got to be there for each other. And as they're walking back home, they hear all the crickets chirping, and Iris says, oh, yeah, Daniel says, yeah, my teacher says that the crickets chirping is the boy crickets saying that I love you to the girl crickets. I'm going to catch a whole bunch of crickets so that anytime you hear them chirp, you know that I love you, Iris. And she's like, oh, that's sweet. And as they make their way back into the house, they're hoping that their dad's in a better mood, not nearly as drunk. And she says, don't worry, I promise I will protect you. And we see that as they enter the house, Reverse Flash is there with his hand around their dad's throat. And he's like, oh, whoops, this wasn't my plan. And we see Flash is also like drained of energy down on the ground, which is exactly where we left off in Flash 23. So turns out that he used all this Speed Force energy to go back and kill his dad before his dad was like horribly, horribly abusive. Still very bad, but still abusive. So yeah, I mean, it's a good origin. I don't think it's bad. I think that it's kind of a bit lame that his whole thing was, oh, I was exposed to Speed Force energy and it drove me crazy or whatever. Like, other people were also exposed to the Speed Force and they didn't have red skin. And like, that's the excuse for him having black on him as well. This black like metal thing is the shrapnel from the monorail. I don't know. It seems like they conjured this origin to try to justify the design rather than the reverse, pardon the pun. That being said, I do like the motivation, but I also think that it's going to be hard to spin him into a larger villain with that motivation. Like, he's here. He has the opportunity to do it. If he succeeds, then we're done, which I don't think he will. But if he fails, then why would he have reason to do like anything else, Like, I don't know. It's hard to imagine this into a just general hatred of the Flash, which I think Reverse Flash needs to have, That being said, I think it's an okay issue. I don't think it's awful by any means. I think the crickets thing is a little bit weird, unless it's going to come back up in some major way. But it's not, by no means is it a bad villain's origin story. I would say this is probably just a flat 7. It's good. It's fine. It's not blowing me away. It's not awful by any means. It's just a standard comic that has done its duty well. So 7 sounds right to me.